Today, I'm going to show you how to integrate GoHighLevel with the new Chinese AI Deepseek, how to connect the cheapest, best performing AI on the market right now with GoHighLevel to manage all of your leads for completely free. I pay $0 a month to use a Deepseek chatbot inside of GoHighLevel. Let's jump straight into it. Now, I've got this checklist here, which is going to be available inside of my school community. Every single person who is inside of my school community is going to get this entire checklist, as well as the full step-by-step video tutorial on exactly how to set this up. Okay, step one. These are the different platforms that you are going to need in order to make this system work. First things first, you need GoHighLevel, right? GoHighLevel is the brains of our system. GoHighLevel is where everything is being hosted from. It's where our chatbot is having a conversation directly with our leads. So you obviously need GoHighLevel. You need Make.com. Make.com is what allows us to string together different platforms, like connecting GoHighLevel directly with Deepseek and then taking the data out of HighLevel, pushing it to Deepseek, getting Deepseek's response, pushing it back into HighLevel. Make.com makes that all possible. And you're going to need our prompt master. So you're going to need a prompt master GPT. This is a custom GPT that I have created just for you guys, which is also available inside of my school community. This custom GPT has been trained specifically on creating prompts for our chatbots, right? And last, we need Grok. Now, Grok is what allows us to connect Deepseek directly with GoHighLevel. It is the module that we use inside of Make.com. Now, the reason why we're using Grok and not Deepseek directly is because Deepseek's API right now is very limited in terms of what it can do. So you're very limited in terms of what you can do directly through their API. It is also under malicious attacks and it is pretty slow at the moment just because it's a new platform. Grok allows us to access their servers and use their servers for our chatbot responses. Now, here's how the basics of the automation comes together. Here's how you're going to set up your chatbot. First things first, you need to set up your custom values. When you go into your GoHighLevel account and when you're setting this up for yourself, you want to go to settings, go to custom values, and you want to set up these custom values. These are going to make sense a little later on in the video, but let's just make sure that we've got them out of the way for now. We're going to get these custom values out of the way, and then we're going to move on to start building out the automations inside of GoHighLevel. Now, I want to pay attention to one custom value in particular at the start. Let's look at GPT message, right? GPT message is actually the first message that our bot sends out. This is what we are doing in order to get a response from a contact and then initiate the bot to have a conversation. Our bot isn't going to jump in straight away and just start talking to itself. This is the first message that every single contact receives. Every single contact is going to receive this same first message, right? And when they receive this same first message, what we are doing is waiting for that contact to respond. Because once they respond, that shows us, okay, we've got the green light now for our bot to go and engage and have a conversation with someone. We do not want to jump our bot into that conversation right off the start and just have it, not really having some context into what that person is looking for, what their response is, or how we can help them. Now, we've got it set up in a way where only people who fill out a Facebook ad, who come in from a Facebook ad, filling out a Facebook ad form, telling us they're interested in buying a home, only those people are actually being triggered to enter the bot automation. So only those people are receiving this same first message, right? If we had a different use case scenario where someone gave us a missed call, we can have a separate GPT message. We can have a different GPT message that says, hey, sorry we missed your call. How can we help? Right? There's different scenarios that you can use this for. For this specific scenario, our first message is going to be focused on home buyers who have filled out a Facebook ad but who have not yet booked a call with our team. Now let's move on to step 3, building out the actual automations inside of Go High Level. Now, the first automation we need to worry about is the start bot. This is how we trigger the bot, right? Like I said, for this specific scenario, we are looking for someone to fill out a survey. Someone fills out a survey, we know they've come in from a Facebook ad, right? As soon as they fill out a survey, they get added into this automation, which starts the bot. All we're doing is just removing that stop bot tag. We're adding a tag which says autopilot, which pretty much allows us to know, okay, this person is currently actively engaged with our bot. And then we're updating the contact field. This is going to make sense in the next workflow. We're updating the contact field, and the field that we are updating it to, we are changing it to that custom value that we just saw. So we're changing the contact field, right, to the first message that we created inside of that custom value. This is how, right, we make sure everyone at the start of the sequence, everyone at the start of the engagement with the bot, they're all receiving that same first message. Every single person that enters this workflow, they're all going to receive that same first GPT message. Now you can see in the GPT master, this is where we actually pass the data on from Go High Level into Deepseek. You can see inside of this workflow, we've got a trigger for contact changed, right? And what we are looking for is the contact field to change. Now, in the last workflow, what did we do? We changed the contact field into the custom value that we created. Now, because we changed that contact field into the custom value, what happened? It triggered this workflow right here. We had a condition step, basically separating the people that replied to the message. So, who came into this workflow from replying to our message, and who came into this workflow because we changed their contact field. In this case, we changed their contact field, right? Because we identified that we are the ones that changed their contact field, the next thing we're going to do is send them an SMS message. And here's where it gets a little bit clever. We're sending them the field that we updated. Now, quick recap, guys. In the last workflow, what did we do? This field right here, this is a contact field, right? And we updated this contact field to be what? To be our first message, right? To be that GPT message that we first created inside of that custom value. So we updated this custom field to be the custom value, the GPT message, the first message that we created. So now in this use case scenario, what's going to happen? Someone gets added into the workflow, right? We change their contact field to be updated to that GPT message, to the first message we want to send them. Then the workflow here recognizes that and sends them that actual first message, right? Then what are we doing? We are waiting for a response. We are waiting for them to actually respond to our SMS. Now, once they respond, we have a go to step. Once they respond, we are sending out a webhook. And you can see we've got all these custom data points that we're also sending out in the webhook. Essentially, what we are doing here, right, is we're taking all of that contact data from Go High Level, and now it's time to pass it on to our bot. Now we know, okay, we've engaged in contact with this person. They've responded back to our message now, which engages the bot. Like I said, we send them that first text message and we're waiting for a response. We can't have a conversation with ourselves, right? We need that contact to actually respond. We need them to show some level of interest. We need them to show us that they're ready to have a conversation with us. And once they do, as soon as they respond to our text message, what do? We take all of that data that we have on that contact. We can take all that data that we have on that contact and pass it on to Deepseek directly to handle the conversation from there. Now, step 4, building out the scenario inside of Make. So what are we doing here? Last thing we done, right, is we took all of that data that we have on that contact and we included it in a webhook. What we are doing is posting that data, right? We're posting the data like our company name, the name of our AI assistant, our calendar link, our GPT message. We're posting all of that data, right? It's like we're sending it out. But where are we sending that data out to? we are sending it out into make.com. Make.com catches that data. We're sending out the data from GoHighLevel, and make.com catches that data. It digests that data. So the first thing you're going to do, right, is inside of high level, you're going to create a post hook, and that post hook is going to be going out into this catch hook in make.com. Now, once we catch that data, once we confirm that we have received that data from GoHighLevel, okay, a contact has come in, they responded, it's time to activate the bot. What are we going to do? The first thing we are going to do is we are going to check, have we actually had a conversation with this contact before? Now, the thing with Deepseek, guys, is right now it doesn't have memory, or the way we've set it up right now, we don't have a memory key. Now, we've come up with a workaround in order to make sure that Deepseek can remember every single conversation it has with every single lead. And the way we're doing that is through a data store inside of make.com. So the first thing we're going to do, once we receive that data from GoHighLevel, we're going to check, have we actually had a contact with this lead before? If we have had a contact with this lead before, then that plays out into the next part right here. If we haven't had contact with this person before, then that's completely fine too. We're going to be able to recognize, okay, we haven't spoken to this person before, so we're going to have to treat them like a new lead, right? Then let's go into Grok. You can see when I click onto Grok, the model that we are using is Deepseek. We are using the Deepseek model as our assistant, right? Now, this is where the data store comes in handy. You can see in the prompt right here, we are telling the assistant, please review the conversation history here. And the conversation history is coming from the data store, right? And draft a response to the user's most recent message, blah, 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 blah. And then all of this data is coming directly from the webhook. All of this data in purple is data that comes in from GoHighLevel directly. And you can see, what have I done? I've actually included the survey answers someone has given me inside of GoHighLevel. I can now make sure every single conversation that Deepseek has with any of my leads is hyper personalized and hyper specific to their situation. Let's say this lead filled out a survey telling me they want to buy a home, telling me how many bedrooms they want, how many bathrooms they want. I can actually take their answers that they gave me inside of that survey, and I can feed it to DeepSeek directly, so that now DeepSeek is going to have a hyper personalized conversation with every single lead. It knows everything about that lead's ambitions, it knows everything about what that lead wants before it even engages in a contact with them. So now when it does, it's going to be hyper personalized, and it's only going to mean our conversions and our chance of taking that contact and booking them into an appointment is going to be so much higher. Now, to create this content, to create this prompt, right, I would suggest using what I have given you guys access to, the GPT Master prompt. This is going to help you actually create a prompt that is specifically designed to convert. Now, what is DeepSeek going to do? It's going to look at our prompt, right? And then it is going to come out with an output. It's going to come up with a response. Now, once DeepSeek comes out with that response, once DeepSeek gives us our reply to that contact, what's going to happen? We're going to send that reply back into GoHighLevel, right? Now, the thing with DeepSeek is, if you guys have used it before, you guys will know that it includes its thinking inside of the actual response. Now, it's taken me all night to figure this out, but I've come up with a way to only extract the result, to only extract the response without all the thinking behind it, right? Again, this is going to be available inside of my school community. Now, what we are doing inside of GoHighLevel, once we add that contact back into GoHighLevel, we are updating the GPT response custom field. And when I go back to this workflow, right, what is this workflow looking for? It's looking for that GPT response field to constantly be updated. Anytime it's updated, what happens? Every single time it gets updated, they go down this path, and we're sending them whatever we've updated that field to. In this case, right, we've updated their field to be what? To be DeepSeek's response to their last message, right? And once we've done that, then inside of high level, we're just updating that field, and this workflow fires off again, and we just send them our response. Now, what is the last module inside of Make? Now, the last module is where we update a record. Like I said, guys, DeepSeek right now, inside of how we've got it built out, it does not actually have a memory key. So what we are doing is we have come up with a workaround to make sure that DeepSeek can always refer back to previous conversations it might have had with a lead. This data store is pretty much going to help us remember the entire conversation history so that, let's say someone enters this workflow again, what's going to happen? We're going to search up and see, have we spoke to this contact before? And if we have spoke to this contact before, then DeepSeek is going to have a point of reference to look back at and see, okay, this is what we've spoken about before. Let me create an adequate response based on our conversation history. And every time we respond to them, or every time they give us a reply, every time this conversation initiated, we're just storing that conversation so that we can refer back to it if we continue to go back and forth with them. Now, this full guide is going to be available inside of my school community. I'm giving it away for completely free. So if you're not a part of my school community already, I'm going to drop a link below so that you guys can join. I'm also going to drop a link for this sheet inside of my school community. Everything I walk through is going to be so much more in depth inside of school. If you liked what you saw here today, drop a thumbs up, drop a subscribe. I'm going to be dropping a ton more value like this. And if you want to speak to me one-on-one on how to set this up or how to set anything else up that you've seen on my channel, the link to book a call with me is going to be below. I'll see you guys in the next one.